So this video is talking about counterclockwise rotations. Okay, you might see in your directions it called something like CCW rotations, which is what I have written at the top. Okay, CCW means counterclockwise. Alright, what counterclockwise means is that instead of rotating this way like a clock does, we want to rotate the other way. We want to rotate counterclockwise. Now, I put up something over here so that we could take a quick observation. Okay, if we remember from our notes from rotations, the last video, we had a nice set of formulas that we could work with, right? It said 90 degrees rotation, start at x, y, we're going to switch x and y and make x negative. Okay, and we could even see that the point moved in this direction. What I want to point out is this. If we're moving clockwise, we would go from one point down to here. Okay. However, we're going counterclockwise, so we want to be moving this way. Well, I want to take a quick minute to observe something. Okay. If we're moving 90 degrees counterclockwise, that actually falls on the same place as if we were moving 270 degrees clockwise. So the trick with counterclockwise is to know that 90 degrees is the same thing as a 270 degrees clockwise rotation. And I'm actually going to write that here in this little note box. I'm going to write same, and I'm going to write CCW. Okay, 90 degrees counterclockwise is the same as a 270 degrees just regular clockwise. Okay, 180 excuse me, 180 degrees, it doesn't matter if we go clockwise or counterclockwise, we're always going to end up at that same point. So 180 degrees counterclockwise is the same as 180 degrees.
Are you filming?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Okay, and the last thing we would want to look at is 270 degrees counterclockwise, which, as you can guess, is probably going to be the same thing as 90 degree clockwise, right? Here's 90, 180, 270. We went counterclockwise. We end up here, which is the same thing as a 90 clockwise. So, 270 counterclockwise is same as 90 degrees. Okay? So, let's look at an example that has counterclockwise. Okay, here's our shape. Our instructions say rotate triangle QRS 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do this to make it easier for myself. I'm going to say, alright, 90 degrees counterclockwise. That's really the same as a 270 degrees clockwise rotation, which I have the formula for. 270 degrees clockwise is negative yx. Right? So I want to move my points to be at negative yx. If I can remember to do this, then this problem isn't any different from a regular rotation. All I have to do is make sure that I follow this formula, which was the same thing as a 270 degree rotation. So everything should be cool, ready to go. So let's try it out. Q. Q looks like it's at 1, 2. That's going to put Q prime. If I switch these, 2 becomes my x coordinate with the opposite sign. Okay, and 1 becomes my y coordinate. So negative 2, positive 1. Negative 2, positive 1. That's Q prime. R. R is at 4, 3. That means R prime. We want to switch and make the y negative with the opposite sign. And 4 becomes my y coordinate. So R prime is at negative 3, 4. Negative 3, 4. And last is point S. Point S is at 3, -1. So S prime. Now it tells us we need to switch X and Y. So my Y coordinate was this -1, but we want the opposite sign. Okay, so the opposite of -1 is +1. And my X coordinate doesn't change, it just moves. So S prime is at 1, 3. 1, 3 is where S prime lives. Okay, connect all my points. Now, what we did was we moved 90 degrees counterclockwise. But what you should notice is that it's really just moving 270 degrees clockwise. Okay, it's the same thing, gets you the same solution. Hope that helped. Rotations are really pretty easy if you remember the formulas. Okay, if you don't have these memorized, I would take the time to memorize these because they're going to make the rotations way easier to do. Once you have those down, counterclockwise becomes the same exact thing. You just got to remember to switch what you're working with. The next video that you might see up here is going to be rotations about a point that's not the origin, so we're going to be doing a little bit more work on those. These ones are a little bit easier, so get some practice on these ones and bring any questions you have to class.